just throw something out here. The first 2 years that I did this, we actually had 50 people. Now, 50 people talking about sex in here is no big thing. But 50 people talking about sex out there with the little kids walking around was not easy. Now, just to get you in the mood. Love, love changes everything, hands and faces, earth and sky. Love, love changes everything, how you live and how you die. Love will make the summers fly, and the night seem like a lifetime. Yes, love, love changes everything. We'll all tremble in His name. Love will never, never let you be the same. More. I just remember, so I want to ask you a question. Oh, right here. Oh, right here. Yes. Question. What animal has the largest penis in the world? Yes, the blue whale. It's only 8 feet. It's only 8 feet long. Now, male barnacles have the largest penis proportional to its body size in the animal kingdom. Now listen to this. It can reach up to 50 times the length of the barnacle's body. But since it's staying in one place, it comes in handy because then it pushes it out and fertilizes the other ones, females that are around them. Now this one really surprised me when I read this. The world's longest sperm in relationship to the male belongs to a tiny fruit fly. When the coiled sperm is straightened out, it measures 2 inches. Now this is a little fly, but it can measure 2 inches. It's over 1,000 times longer than a human sperm. And the testes make up 11% of the body mass of the male. You know, really, what is out there is unbelievable. Now, we'll get started here. What is this?
Baseball bat.
It works for a baseball bat. It's a baculum. What is a baculum? A baculum is a penis bone. And what made me laugh, it is also known as a love bone, a pecker bone, a coon dog, a possum prick, a Texas toothpick, a mountain man toothpick, and a little rock. You know, it's funny. I did not grow up with this at all. And it surprised me the first time that I started seeing this. Oh, there it is. Aristotle, and way back in the BCs, called the fox and wolf baculum little sticks. The Inuits, the Eskimos, they use this when they make their sleds to hold their dogs. And this one got me. This one I said I never even heard of this when I was a kid. In Texas, a lot of young adults, young males, and in the 20s, the raccoon baculum would be a gift that they would give to their girlfriend as a love token or a love spell. And they would make necklaces out of it. say, no, no, really, what's out there is almost unbelievable. I'll say this though, when it comes to having sex, if you do have one of these, it helps a little. Insectivores, bats, rodents, carnivores, pinnipeds, which are seals, sea lions, and walruses, which is from, and non-human primates. You know, all primates have them, except us. Now, maybe once upon a time, going way back, we might have had it, but we don't have it. We don't have it. Penises vary, believe it or not. You know how big a gorilla is? Real big. But the penis is only about 2 inches long. And the reason for that is because it has a harem, which means that it doesn't have to fight for the females. It doesn't have to have a lot of sex with the females to make sure that its sperm is the one that fertilizes it. But it has no problem at all. Now, with your orangutans, which is very interesting, but let this go for now, because I'm going to talk about this later on. Now we come. Spoonworm. This is something which fascinates me no end. These can be 3 feet long. They live in the ocean. Now, when their eggs hatch, they are not female, they are not male. So they go around. If they see a female, they become a male. Now, a male is only about 2,000 times smaller than the female. And they will go through a passageway in the mouth that goes to where the seeds go through. Where the eggs go through. And then they will fertilize the eggs. But if they're going around and they don't find a female, they become a female. No, really, what is out there is unbelievable. This is an interesting little animal. When they hatch out of the eggs, they're males. Only males. But when they reach a certain size, they become females. So then they will mate with the males and produce young. The redback spider. The reason why I chose this one is because they had 2 ducts that go to where they keep the sperm and then to fertilize the eggs inside the spider. So when she mates, let's say she mates with a male that goes into 1 duct. If she then mates with another male that goes in the same duct, the first one will produce 80% of the babies and the other one 20%. But if they both go through 1 duct and the other duct, then it's 50%. But she can actually know which one that they are going to use. If a if a small male mates with her, after it has deposited sperm, she will turn around and eat it. And that means that the next one is that he will not be able to put his sperm into the second one. No, really, if you people want to know something, get on the internet or something, you start learning. You go, what is out there is unbelievable. The vermin moth. This is a very fascinating thing. And I'll be honest with you, the first time I read this, I was surprised. Now, not all vermin worms do this, but there are some that do. When the male deposits the sperm, it can be anywhere on the body. Anywhere. And where the sperm is deposited, the skin will come like a sponge and absorb the sperm, which will then get into passageways that go to where the sperm is, where the eggs are, and fertilize the eggs. Pretty cool. Oh, the skinny cricket. Yes. It was thought for a long time that lions and tigers had the most sexual interaction with females. These little crickets can have as much as 50 sexual encounters with a female in 3 to 4 hours.
Oh. Wow.
And the part that intrigues me about this is this. As you probably know, when sperm is put into a female, it is literally thousands of them. Not with these. Believe it or not, it can be only 5 to 250. And the reason is this. As soon as he puts his sperm into her, she turns around and eats it. And this goes on and on and on and on until finally, I guess when she's full, the sperm will then be able to go into her and becomes into the thousands then. No, what is out there is unbelievable. I'm sorry. The bush cricket. This is a very interesting cricket. How would you like to have, you men, testicles that weigh 14% of your weight?
Oh, jeez.
Because this little cricket can do that. And the reason is that he does a lot of sexual intercourse with a lot of males. And somehow he has evolved to be able to do just that. No, again. How would you females love to give birth to a baby that only weighs 1/3 of your weight?
Nothing.
This stumpy-tailed lizard lives in Australia. And actually, the baby, it would be like you giving birth to a 7-year-old boy or a 7-year-old girl. And what happens, now this is a lizard, and what makes it very difficult is that reptiles cannot expand a lot with their bodies. And the baby will begin to grow inside of her to the point where it presses down on the lungs, it presses down on the heart, and it comes to a point where she cannot run. So she has to find a place to hide because she can't run away from predators. Now, there's a good point and a bad point to this. The bad point, I agree, is the fact that the female has to do what she has to do with a 7-year-old kid to get out of her out of it. But the good part is that the percentage of young that come out of this lizard mature to adults. And it's very high because of the fact that they're so big when they are born. This little guy also comes from Australia. She has orange here and orange there. Now, when it comes time to mate, there's a lot of times when she doesn't want to mate. But the males will try to mate with her. And she'll try everything she can to not have a mate. But if that doesn't work, she plays dead. She gets on her back and plays dead. And evidently it works. You females can remember that. Oh, this is very interesting. There are 3 different kinds of males in this family. Now, well, family would be the wrong word to use, in this species. You have the orange-throated, the blue-throated, and the yellow-throated. Now, the blue-throated is quote-unquote normal. By that I mean it's a normal size, and it usually mates with a female, 1 or 2, and they stay in connection with each other. The orange-throated one is much bigger because he has more testosterone. And what he will do is, not so much with this one, but he will do with this one, is to go with the where the females are and take the females away from the males. Now the yellow-throated one is about the size of a female and looks something like a female. So when this one is having sex over there, this one will run in, have sex with a female, and run back out again before he gets caught. Again, like I said, it's wonderful what's out there. ah, this is an all-female lizard. No male. It's actually found in Texas, New Mexico, and other in that area there. And what makes it very interesting is, when the female comes into estrus, another female that is not in estrus will act like a male. Will actually go up to her, wrap herself around her, and even the letters will touch together. And somehow, and I don't think anybody really knows the reason how this works, but somehow by doing this, it quote unquote fertilizes the eggs, which of course are females, and then they will hatch. But no, I mean, I see your face. What is that? It's unbelievable. Oh, this is interesting. People don't realize this. But in reptiles, crocodilians and tortoises and some lizards, it depends on the temperature as to whether they're going to be male or female. And I know I think it was about a month ago, there was something on the news that fascinated me. Because there are tortoises down in the south where the weather has been very, very, very hot. And what is happening is that they're getting all females and very few males. But if it goes down, then of course they become males. If it goes real high, they become females. And then there's about a 5 or 6 degree right in the middle where they can be either male or female. Again. Oh, clownfish. Now, clownfish live in you have a big male, you have a dominant female, and then you have some other females. But what happens if the male dies? That's not good. So do you know what happens? The dominant female becomes a male.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, this one fascinates me. They come from Peru. But look how beautiful they are. Now, these are only there's only two feathers in the tail. Here and here. But, now, by the way, one time I got to watch this on television. Hummingbirds love to fly. And they love to demonstrate in front of females. The problem is that with this, they cannot do it very long. Which means that they only do it for a little while, and a few seconds, and then they have to come back and sit down on top of a tree or whatever they're at. Because it poops them out. And they have to rest for it, and then they go back and do it again. Now, I don't know the reason exactly why they're on the endangered species list. I mean, exactly why they are disappearing. But I have a sneaky suspicion it has to do with the way that they are probably being treated in Peru. Now, and by the way, a couple of years ago, I went to a place where they had a lot of peacocks. And I'll be honest with you, this surprised me. There was a peacock who had his tail open. It was this high. It was this high. I don't know why it surprised me, but it did. I mean, it was this high. Now, the peacocks use that tail for me because it impresses the female. Not only the fact of all this that you see, but also how big it can get. But there's a negative side to this. Male peacocks do not live a long life. Because if you had a 6-foot long tail and you're trying to get away from a predator, I'm sorry, they're not going to do it. And that does not work out too well. That does not work out too well. Argentine lake duck. I love this. What do you think this is? It is. It's the male part. Now, for years, scientists and those who study ducks didn't realize that this can be as long as the duck is. They thought it was only around 8 inches long. But actually, the duck itself is around 14 inches, and that's 14 inches. And they call it, some people call it a lasso. Now, sometimes the question is, do they put all of that into the female? No. No, it's just too long. Down here, though, they do have spikes.
Oh, wow.
Now, people don't realize this, but there's a lot of animals that have spikes on the end of their tip. which is used for various reasons. One is to really make the female, and I'll talk about this about tigers, but also it'll scrape off sperm that has been put in there before. You don't know how lucky you are, man. Mallards. Oh, by the way, 98% of birds do not have penises. But ostriches and ducks do. Now, what makes this very interesting about mallards is that where the sperm goes into the female is like a screw. And mallards are raped a lot by other males. They really are. But they found out that as much as 90% do not conceive. And the reason why they do not conceive is because they can control this. So that they can stop the sperm and the male sperm from going into the fertilizer. Again, what is out there is unbelievable. Ah, the praying mantis. As you know, praying mantises, when a male wants to mate with a female praying mantis, they are very careful. And the reason why they are very careful is because once the male attaches itself to the female, she will turn around and bite off its head. And believe it or not, he keeps putting sperm into her. And finally, when it's finished, she eats him. So the males are very cautious, but it doesn't work. Homosexuality. You know, just a second here. Well, at the last count, just for the fun of it, how many species of animals do you think have homosexual and bisexual individuals within them?
All of them.
Huh?
All of them?
Well, not all. But at the last count that I got, 1,500. And that's a lot of animals. Lions, tigers, horses, cattle, and in fact, what did I do with that? Darn it? Just a second there. Oh, here it is, right here. Yeah, here's what I want. Bison, brown bear, caribou, cats, and chimpanzees, and dogs, and elephants, and foxes, and horses, and humans, and emus, and king penguins, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. So homosexuality is normal. I know a lot of people get mad at me sometimes when I say this, but it is normal. It is found all over the place. Now, let's see what's next. All right, we're going to be going out into the thing, and we'll be talking about some different things. Do any of you have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
Somebody asked me to ask how chickens reproduce because they heard that the male chicken farts on the female chicken. Do you know that?
Honestly, I never heard that.
That was what her mother taught her, so she wanted to know for sure.
But the way a chicken does is they over they join the clitoris, and then the sperm from the male will go into the female. That's what they do. All birds except for the ostriches and the, like I said, the population. That's what they do.
Thank you.
Any questions? No questions? All right, then we're going to be going out there. I'll tell you what, before we go, if anybody wants to go to the bathroom, lavatory, right there. Anybody got to go? Were you going to say something about it? I'll put that with you. Yeah.